to be speaking to your section. I'm originally from Knoxville, so not too far away from you guys, and my son lived in Asheville, North Carolina for 3 years and has just recently moved back to Durango. So very fondly familiar with the Blue Ridge area of the United States. So happy to speak with you guys today. I also understand that you guys got a little tidbit, a little overview of sustainability with a webinar with Willie Vandebrande and a couple of months ago, maybe a month or so ago. And so I've worked with Willie before, great guy, and I'm sure he did a great job of orienting you guys to the concept of sustainability. And I'm going to kind of take off maybe where he left off and get a little more into the weeds, a little more into the details of a very specific method that quality professionals can use to get engaged and involved in the sustainability and social responsibility efforts of your organizations. So we're going to be talking about continual improvement for social responsibility. All right. So not that you need to know any more about me. My day job, I'm Chief Learning Officer at Kaiser Aluminum, so I spend a lot of my time in learning and development, and it's a joy and a passion of mine to expand the horizons for the people that I work with. I do want to make one correction, though, and that is that I'm no longer the chair of the social responsibility technical community for ASQ. I've recently handed that over to Jennifer Stepniowski, and she's doing a great job with the technical community. So I'm sure many of you probably know Jennifer. She's a very dynamic and brilliant leader in ASQ, and the SRTC, Social Responsibility Technical Community, is in her capable hands at the moment. I want to talk a little bit about Kaiser Aluminum and kind of how we approach sustainability. And at Kaiser, we really don't have a separate sustainability program. Actually, my prior job to being the Chief Learning Officer, I was the Vice President of Continual Improvement. And as the VP of CI, I had responsibility for sustainability for the organization. It's integrated into everything we do. And so I pulled out this, this is our public statement on how we see at Kaiser sustainability. And we're talking about sustainable value creation. That means creating value for all of our stakeholders over very long periods of time. And so we strive to have a sustainable economic impact on our stakeholders by providing attractive returns to our shareholders. So for Kaiser, our shareholders are definitely stakeholders. But we also want to create opportunities for our employees. Our employees are also stakeholders. We want to foster innovation and continuous improvement in our products and operations, and engage our customers in the process to ensure that we deliver quality products and best-in-class customer service. So our customers are important stakeholders. So when we talk about value creation and we talk about sustainability, we want to make sure that all of our stakeholders, and we've specifically called out shareholders, employees, and customers, that we're creating value for these stakeholders over time. And that's how we see sustainability at Kaiser Aluminum. So the specific agenda for today, I'm going to talk about, I want to orient you guys on the SRTC as ASQ members. I think it's important for you to understand how ASQ is involved in social responsibility and why ASQ is involved in social responsibility. Might not seem obvious on the surface. I'm going to talk a little bit about the other not-for-profit organization that I'm involved in, and that's Sherpa Sustainability Institute. And then I'm going to dive into enhancing your skill set, specifically with some orientation to the CISR and SOFARE methods. I think, Norval, we've got a little bit of noise coming in from somewhere else. That's not me turning papers. Not sure who it is. So let's talk a little bit about the ASQ SRTC and the Sherpa Sustainability Institute. So as ASQ members, it's important for you to understand kind of where ASQ's been and the involvement that ASQ's had specific to social responsibility. As you know, in ASQ, we have two different membership avenues. We have sections, like 1108, and then we also have divisions. Within divisions, we have what we might consider subdivisions, which are technical communities. So technical communities are interest areas that aren't quite at the organizational governance level of a full division. And so the technical community, the social responsibility technical community, is one of these. Not quite a division, but part of the division technical communities. It was created in 2015, so it's pretty new. And it kind of grew out of many other activities that ASQ had been involved in with social responsibilities. And this really goes all the way back to 2005. And ASQ was selected by the United States government to be the technical advisory group for ISO 26000. ISO 26000 is the international standard on social responsibility. So because of ASQ's involvement in many other ISO standards, ASQ was kind of tapped on the shoulder to participate on behalf of the U.S. government in the involvement and development of this international standard on social responsibility. So ASQ has really been involved at an international level with social responsibility since the beginning of the development of an international standard. It goes quite a ways back. Since then, other ways that ASQ has been involved in social responsibility, a social responsibility body of knowledge is embedded in the QBOC, in the quality body of knowledge. So when you're out there on asq.org and you're searching through the QBOC, there are many social responsibility knowledge elements embedded in that QBOC. We also have the Spencer Hutchins Medal, and this is a medal awarded for social responsibility. So I encourage you to go out to asq.org and look at the past recipients of that medal. Some really amazing and illustrious professionals out there. And then finally, ASQ has conducted research in collaboration with other organizations, IBM and CISR. CISR stands for Business for Social Responsibility, associated with the intersection between quality and social responsibility. So there's been scientific research on this topic that I'm getting ready to talk to you about today. And you can find those white papers at asq.org as well. Additionally, resources that are available to you today associated with, as ASQ members associated with social responsibility, there's a LinkedIn group for the SRTC, and that group number is shown there, 89322. Encourage everybody to go out and join that ASQ SRTC LinkedIn group. There's a lot of great blogs and posts there that continue to discuss the intersection of ASQ and social responsibility. And then finally, a couple of years ago, ASQ sponsored the development of an e-book, a flip book, that talks about integrating social responsibility with business strategy and how the quality professional can take part in this. And I've got the URL there where you can go as an ASQ member and download that flip book. And it talks about, specific to the quality professional, how you can help work to integrate social responsibility with your quality management system. And then ASQ has ongoing research with enterprise members on the topic of social responsibility. So that work continues on. So ASQ very involved in social responsibility. The other organization that I'm involved with is the Sherpa Sustainability Institute, and this is an organization that's dedicated to sustainability performance improvement of individuals, communities, and organizations, and it does that through research, education, and collaboration. And its purpose is to lead the movement to build a sustainable, interconnected, and trusting world. And they do that by focusing on helping others develop business strategy associated with sustainability, employee engagement, and being an employer of choice around bringing sustainability into the organization, and then something near and dear to the quality professional's heart, and that is managing risk and protecting reputation when it comes to social responsibility and sustainability. Unfortunately, every other day there's another headline in the newspapers about how an organization has really lost significant reputation because of a lack of attention to their social responsibility needs. Some that come to mind right off the top of my head is the Takata airbag debacle, the Volkswagen emission testing debacle, the United Airlines breaking its customers' nose debacle, and then maybe more recently as Wells Fargo has had multiple reputational hits with unethical practices. And so these are all examples of where organizations did not manage their social responsibility risk well and took the reputational hit to that effect. So proud to be involved with the Sherpa Sustainability Institute and encourage everybody to go check them out. As Norval mentioned, in 2015, I co-authored a book, and part of the content of the book is what I'm going to be talking about today, and it's specifically a Six Sigma approach to sustainability. And we're talking about continual improvement for social responsibility. And the Sherpa Sustainability Institute has taken the contents of this book and created a professional certification around the CISR methodology, CISR, Continual Improvement for Social Responsibility. We pronounce it CISR. And they have a CISR certified practitioner professional certification educational offering, very intensive. It's the equivalent of like a Six Sigma black belt. It's 14 weeks. You complete a project during the course, and you're provided with a coach that helps you through that learning exercise. And I think their winter term, it's all virtual, all online, all asynchronous, meaning that you interact with the course material within a week at any time during the week. And I think they have their winter term starting in November. You can go onto their website and see exactly when that comes up. But if you're interested in the content that I'm talking about today, there is an opportunity for you to learn a lot more, and all the way to the point of becoming professionally certified in the CISR technique. Okay, so that was just a little bit about ASQ and social responsibility and what the technical community has done and is up to, and a little bit about how to learn more about what we're going to talk about at the Sherpa Sustainability Institute. So let's talk about what this CISR and SOFAIR method is. What is this? So one of the things that when I'm in conversation with quality professionals about sustainability, we get a lot of interesting questions about what sustainability is. And I find that sustainability is a really easy concept for quality professionals to wrap their head around. It's a little harder for people that aren't quality professionals to really understand. So sustainability is like quality, and those of us in quality understand that when we talk about big Q quality, it's really an ideal state, right? We're going after something that we'll really never achieve. So the minute the customer expects one level of product or service quality, then the bar is raised and a higher level of expectation is set. And so there's this always increasing customer expectation of what quality is. But, you know, quality is always defined in the customer's eyes, and the customer is always increasing their expectations for what quality is. Sustainability is a lot like quality. It's an ideal end state. And the stakeholders, so in sustainability we have stakeholders and not customers, then the stakeholders are always expecting more and more and more sustainable outcomes, more and more sustainable expectations. And sustainable means just like what it sounds. It means being able to maintain a state, being able to maintain success or impact or outcomes over very, 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 very long periods of time. So we use social responsibility. There's a connection here between social responsibility and sustainability, in that social responsibility is one way of achieving sustainability. And I'll talk a little bit more about what social responsibility means specific to ISO 26000. It's not the only way to achieve sustainability. We have other ways like sustainable design and other methods, but social responsibility is one way of achieving sustainability. And we never actually achieve sustainability, because the minute we achieve one level of sustainability, then the stakeholder has higher and higher expectations. And sustainability, like quality, is always defined in the stakeholder's eyes. What is sustainable? Well, you got to go ask your stakeholder. So CISR, Continual Improvement for Social Responsibility, is like Six Sigma for sustainability. So when we talk about continual improvement for social responsibility, it requires a continual improvement approach. It is a way of breaking really big societal problems into incremental improvement efforts through projects. So it's a Kaizen method, so we take incremental improvement. It requires expert problem solvers that are deployed as project leaders, and it uses rigorous, statistically oriented problem-solving methods. So that's another thing that I like talking about this subject with quality professionals, because to be brutally honest with you, the quality professional, a lot of your partners in your organizations that have the job title associated with sustainability and social responsibility, many of them are really grasping for methods, for rigorous problem-solving methods to solve social responsibility and sustainability problems. And we see a lot of not very rigorous approaches applied to try to improve social responsibility that, of course, aren't particularly effective. And when we can get quality individuals with their expert toolkit, their rigorous problem solving, and their project-oriented continual improvement approaches, then we see enormous improvement, enormous legitimacy and effectiveness in our social responsibility and sustainability improvement efforts. So if we think about Six Sigma, so DMAIC is one method used in the Six Sigma methodology, right? So we also have Design for Six Sigma and the DMADV and IDOV methods. But DMAIC is one method in the Six Sigma methodology. And so just a brief look at Six Sigma for those on the call that aren't green belts or black belts. So Six Sigma uses a phased project approach. So we have project phases of define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. There are a defined set of objectives and tools used in each of those phases. And we have projects. We have Six Sigma projects, and by definition, a project has a discrete start and a discrete end. So in Six Sigma, we apply our continual improvement methods in these quants of improvement as projects. But in Six Sigma, the ultimate goal isn't a whole bunch of projects being completed. It's really culture change through organizational learning. And that organizational learning happens through everybody being trained and lots of projects going on. And so our yellow belts and green belts and white belts and black belts and master black belts are all involved in performance improvement. And so therefore culture begins to change because we're all engaged and we're all learning and we're all utilizing the Six Sigma method. Well, SOFAIR is to CISR like DMAIC is to Six Sigma. So SOFAIR is a method used in the CISR methodology. Not the only method, but it's one method, just like DMAIC is to Six Sigma. So what is SOFAIR? SOFAIR is a phased approach in projects for social responsibility improvement. So the DMAIC, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control, doesn't really work so well for social responsibility problems. We have to switch it up a little bit. And so our project phases change to be stakeholders and subjects, objectives, function and focus, analyze, innovate and improve, and report and repeat. So those are SOFAIR phases of a SOFAIR project. And within each of these phases, there's a defined set of objectives and tools. There are projects, and so by definition, they're discrete start and discrete end. So we take these big, gnarly social responsibility, reputational risk opportunities, and we break them into quants of improvement as projects with discrete starts and discrete ends. And just like Six Sigma, the goal isn't a whole bunch of projects being done. The goal is culture change and organizational learning through lots and lots of people being engaged in social responsibility improvement by participating on SOFAIR projects. So everybody's working on a project, everybody's involved in a project, and everybody's learning the tools and techniques, and therefore culture change happens within the organization, and we become culturally a more socially responsible organization. So that's an overview of what CISR and SOFAIR is. So SOFAIR is to CISR as DMAIC is to Six Sigma. SOFAIR is a project-oriented, rigorous problem-solving methodology within the framework of a continual improvement for social responsibility effort, just like a Six Sigma effort is. So let's dive a little deeper into the SOFAIR method and kind of understand what that looks like. Again, it's deployed as projects. So the S, O, F, A, I, and R phases of a project. And within each of these phases, there's a set of rigorous problem-solving tools. And just like with Plan, Do, Check, Act and DMAIC, the minute we finish one project, we start the next. so it's this circuitous loop, and we're always working on projects, and we're always incrementally improving in service to, with SoFair and CISR, in service to the stakeholder, not only the customer. So let's look at each of these phases, and so we'll look at some of the tools within each of the phases of a SoFair project. So the first phase is the stakeholder and subjects phase, and we want to understand who the stakeholders are for our specific opportunity that has been chartered in a given project. So now we're down at the project level. We're working on a SoFair project. And within that SoFair project, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to understand our stakeholders. And stakeholders are anyone who can be impacted by the decisions and actions of the organization. The other half of the S phase is subjects. And we take the 7 subjects of social responsibility as defined by that ISO 26000 standard. And so the 7 subjects of social responsibility are organizational governance, human rights, operating practices, labor practices, the environment, consumer issues, and community involvement and development. So if we're focused on social responsibility, we are balancing the needs of our stakeholders across all 7 of these subjects. So it's not just about environmental protection. It's also about not having corruption and complicity, not being involved in human trafficking or slave labor, making sure that the organization is engaged in the development of the safety of the community and the prosperity of the community. It's also in the wheelhouse of the quality professional with consumer issues. It's about product liability and privacy and making sure that we have informed and aware consumers. So it's a very broad take at what social responsibility is as defined by ISO 26000. And in the S phase, some of the tools we use the SIPOS, which those familiar with Six Sigma, it is a take on the SIPOC, and that stands for suppliers, inputs, process, outputs, and stakeholders. So in social responsibility, we expand the concept of customers. Customers are one stakeholder, of course. They can be impacted by the decisions and actions of the organization. But we also have employees, suppliers, owners, the local community. These are also stakeholders. So in a SoFair project, we not only look at the SIPOC, the C being customers, but we also look at the SIPOS, with the S being all stakeholders. And then we use a familiar quality tool, the Q matrix, to begin to understand what is material. We do a materiality analysis. What is most important and material to our stakeholders? So we do some prioritization of the interests, of our stakeholders across all 7 subjects. We do that analysis with a Q matrix. After the project leader or CISR practitioner is completed with the S phase, then they start the objective phase. And so this is where we look at the business objectives for the organization. One of the key tenets of sustainability is what we call the triple bottom line. The triple bottom line means that to any organization, the planet, protecting the planet is important. People, protecting people are important. But profit, the third P, triple bottom line, people, planet, and profit is important. After all, it isn't very sustainable if we aren't sustaining the business objectives of the organization, which, of course, for a for-profit organization is profit. So we aren't doing social responsibility and sustainability at the expense of profit. We are doing social responsibility and sustainability in order to achieve profit. This is not counter to the business objectives. It is important to the business objectives. And so the second phase of a SoFair project is deep diving into those very business objectives to make sure that this social responsibility project improves performance to business objectives. So we look at organizational goals, organizational objectives, resource allocation for the project's chartered in alignment with the business objectives. And some of the tools we use in the O phase are the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And then we develop organizational narratives around for the project around those business objectives. After the CISR practitioner is finished with the O phase, then the SoFair project moves to the F phase, and this is function and focus. So by now, in the S and O phase, we have mountains and mountains and mountains of data. We have lots of voice of the stakeholder data from the S phase. We have lots of organizational objective data from the O phase. And now we need to begin to focus on what we're going to work on in this project. So what part of the problem will we work on first? Remember, this is just one project in a series of projects. The minute we finish this project, we're going to start the next. So we're deciding what we're going to work on right now. In the F phase, we deploy systems thinking, and so we begin looking at process flow analysis and life cycle analysis and internal and external contextual analysis of the organization. So we're looking at the systems that are important to the project. And then we use some prioritization tools like QFD, quality function deployment, and Pareto analysis. We exit the F phase with a very narrowly defined focus for the project. Then the CISR practitioner moves to the analyze phase. And here, this is very familiar to the Six Sigma practitioners. There's a lot of overlap between the A in DMAIC and the A in SoFair. But this is about finding the relationship between the organization's decisions and actions to the stakeholder impact. And we break the analyze phase in SoFair into two parts. One is risk analysis, so we're looking for preventive action here. And so we want to prevent potentially irresponsible decisions and actions. And we use a social responsibility, failure mode, effects, and analysis to identify social responsibility risks. So SRFMEA is a key tool in the A phase. And then we use the well-worn causal analysis tools for corrective action if irresponsible behavior has already happened. And so we use things like 5 whys, cause and effect analysis, root cause analysis, those kinds of things. Very familiar to the quality profession. Next, the CISR practitioner is going to move into the I phase of SoFair, and this is Innovate and Improve. So here's where we've thoroughly understood how our decisions and actions impact our stakeholders. We've evaluated some preventive action, we've evaluated some corrective action, and now we want to use our creativity and innovation tools to develop many possible solutions, and then we're going to select the best solution amongst those possible solutions. So some of the tools that we're going to use in the I phase are trees, the theory of inventive problem solving, 7 ways to create lots and lots of possible solutions, and then we're going to use some prioritizing to choose the best solution amongst many, and we're going to pull out our project management tools for the implementation planning. So here's where, in the I phase, where the actual process change takes place. The last phase that the CISR practitioner is going to use in his or her SoFair project is report and repeat. So the R of SoFair is report and repeat. The reporting part is connecting the social responsibility work that's just been accomplished back to public reporting standards and frameworks. And so most organizations do some form of sustainability reporting. It could be through a framework like the Global Reporting Initiative, GRI, or the Integrated Reporting Initiative, IR, or SA 8000, or SASB, or the Carbon Disclosure Project, or industry reporting frameworks like EICC. But I would encourage you to do a little bit of research and see what your organization is using to report their sustainability and social responsibility performance. So we connect the SOFARE project back to that already existing public reporting mechanism. And then, because this is a continual improvement approach, the last thing we do in this SOFARE project is identify the next SOFARE project. So we leave the project by chartering and beginning the next opportunity. So that's the R phase. So that's a little bit about SOFARE and the SOFARE method and how it differs from DMAIC. There's some very important pieces that, as quality professionals, begin their CISR practitioner certification. There's some awareness and learning around the concepts of sustainability and social responsibility that take place. But we find that it's very easy for quality professionals to step into this professional certification because of their experience in rigorous performance improvement and problem-solving methodologies. So my last slide here, and then I have a few minutes to take some questions. But this CISR Certified Practitioner is an opportunity for quality professionals. What we've found is it allows you, because of the rigor of your quality role, it can really enhance your career in terms of allowing you to take a leadership role in sustainability, and thus increases your value to the organization. It's yet another hat that you can wear in your organization. It also works the other way in terms of mitigating these not very rigorous solutions that untrained sustainability and social responsibility professionals are using. So it brings robust and rigorous solutions to social responsibility issues. So it helps the quality professional increase their role and value to the organization, and then it also makes sure that our sustainability and social responsibility efforts are more rigorous and more robust. So that was just a little bit about continual improvement for social responsibility, or CISR, and some specifics about the SOFARE method and how the ASU social responsibility technical community is involved in connecting quality professionals to social responsibility, and how the Sherpa Sustainability Institute is providing education, research, and collaboration opportunities for social responsibility and sustainability. So Norval, do we have any questions?
Yes, we do. We do have one. Let's see. Do you recommend pursuing Six Sigma belts prior to getting involved in CISR? Is there a minimum expectation of a certain level of Six Sigma experience?
The easy answer is no. That you can learn the SOFARE methodology without any level of Six Sigma training. That the training leads you to the capabilities to use those tools and techniques that I just mentioned. So there's no assumption, there's no prerequisite for any level of belt to become a CISR certified practitioner.
Okay, let's see. Another question. What is the process for CISR certification? How much time is required? We can do it online, right? And there's a question mark after that.
Okay, yeah. It is intense. So think of this as black belt training. It's 74 hours of training across 14 weeks. So it's like a college semester is really what it's like. All of the training is virtual. It's all online. It is social learning. So you're learning with your colleagues in the classroom, in the virtual classroom. You're completing a project, so that hence the professional certification. You have to prove that you're capable of leading a SOFAIR project as you're learning it in order to achieve the professional certification. It's what we call asynchronous in the learning world, meaning you don't have to be online at a certain time during the week. So within a given week, you can log on, complete your learning activities at any time during the week across the 14 weeks that you want to do that. But it is not for the faint of heart. So 74 hours across 14 weeks is about 5 hours a week, a little more than 5 hours a week. And so you're not only listening to lectures online, you're doing some practice assignments online, you're involved in discussion threads online, and you're completing quizzes online, but then you're also in the real world completing a project. You're not doing this all on your own. You're provided a coach. So think of your coach as like a master black belt. And so your coach has completed many projects themselves, and they've coached many other projects. And you'll meet with your coach at least 6 times, so about every other week throughout the 14 weeks. And your coach helps you and advises you on the completion of that all-important project that you're doing as you learn. So very comprehensive, very holistic training, very rigorous, very intense, and really results in a valuable professional certification.
Okay, there's a follow-up to that question. Thank you. How can we get a quote for this certification? Please send contact information.
Okay, and in the meantime, I'll encourage you to, I'll be more than happy to connect with anyone that wants to ask more questions. And I think, Norval, you have my email address, so I have no problem giving that out. I do encourage people, though, to go straight away to, it's all one word, Sherpa Sustainability Institute.com. And then there's lots and lots and lots and lots of information at that website. While you're waiting for me to answer your email.
Okay, so it's okay for me to share your Gmail address with anybody who asks?
Yes, please do.
Okay, great. Let's see if we have any other questions. It looks like we don't. We have about 5 minutes left before it hits the top of the hour. We'll allow here maybe a few more seconds. Oh, here we go. Another question just came across. Do you have a quick example of a project?
Yeah, so you can also go out. I'll encourage people to go, when you go to the Sherpa Sustainability Institute website, there's a page called Who We Are. And it gives a little expose of all the coaches that are out there. And each of the coaches on that webpage has, there's a little video, a little 15-minute video about their project. So you can actually go watch a video of projects that have taken place. And I'll point you to one of our coaches, Billy Ingram, who is the Lean Product Innovation Manager at Interface Carpet. And one of his projects was they were developing a continuous flow manufacturing process for their carpet tiles, so big innovation in their manufacturing process. And he used the SOFARE method to better understand the internal impacts to social responsibility of this new manufacturing line. So if you can imagine, they're going from these giant batch processing carpet mills to these one-piece carpet tile at a time manufacturing processes. And think about the impact. Think about the impact to suppliers, the impact to employees, the impact to customers, the impact to the community, because you're going from, you know, hundreds of thousands of square feet of manufacturing space to a few thousand square feet of manufacturing space. So this lean innovation project that Billy was doing had a lot of impact, a lot of social responsibility impact to many stakeholders. And he used the SOFARE method to make sure that their decisions and their actions as they were moving to this very different mode of manufacturing didn't have any harmful impacts on their stakeholders from a social responsibility standpoint. So really fascinating project. The video of that project is out on that webpage. So that's Sherpa Sustainability Institute.com/coaches. That's the URL, Sherpa Sustainability Institute.com/coaches, COACHES. And then look for Billy Ingram as a coach on there, and then there's a link to a YouTube video on his project next to his name. And that's a fascinating project. There's about 6 or 7 other coaches and videos of their project out there on that page as well. So you can listen to lots and lots of different real world projects that have happened using the SOFARE method.
Okay, looking at the clock once more, we're almost to the top of the hour. Let's see. Oh, and a comment for you, Holly. Thank you for this inspiring look at what comes next.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Chat box. Okay, if anybody else has anything, you've got like a few seconds left. Doesn't look like we do have any other questions coming. One last reminder, next Wednesday is number 50 for us as far as webinars are concerned, and it is Those Quirky Engineers with Stacy Carr. So several of you have already signed up for that one, and we hope that you can join us for it. We're really looking forward to next week. So hopefully we'll see many of you next week. Holly, I don't see any other questions coming in. So I will, however, share your email address with anybody who contacts me and asks for it. And that way they can follow up with you one-on-one if they do have a specific question regarding sustainability.
Thank you.
And I'd like to take one last moment here to thank you again, Holly, for presenting for us today. It's much appreciated. And I'd also like to thank everyone for joining us for the webinar today. And we hope to see you next week. And until then, hope everybody has a good rest of the day. Thanks. Bye now.
Thank you, Norval. Thank you.